My parents committed fraud in my name to save my sister after she gambled away the house they gave her for graduation. Mine. A gym membership that got laughs from the whole family. I'm Jane. Early 30s, office job, small apartment. Normal life. Or at least it was until the night everything fell apart at my sister's graduation dinner. The restaurant was packed with family. Chelsea had just finished her degree, and my parents were beaming. My dad stood up with this huge grin, holding an envelope like it was the golden ticket. "Chelsea, we're so incredibly proud of you," he announced. The whole table went quiet. "We wanted to give you something that shows just how much you mean to us." She opened it. Her eyes went wide, but not surprised wide. More like finally it's happening wide. "We bought you a house," my mom added, practically bouncing in her seat. The table erupted. Phones came out. People were hugging Chelsea, congratulating my parents on being so generous. My aunt started crying happy tears. Someone ordered another bottle of champagne. A house. Worth about $120,000. Not a down payment. The whole thing. Chelsea was doing this modest act, covering her mouth, shaking her head like she couldn't believe it. But I could see it in her eyes. She knew this was coming. She always knew. I sat there watching the whole performance. Watching my parents glow under the attention. Watching relatives treat them like they'd just won Parents of the Year. And I kept thinking about all the times I'd asked for help over the years. Small things. A loan for textbooks. Help with my first apartment deposit. Every single time, the answer was the same. "You're so capable, Jane. You don't need us like Chelsea does." Then my dad turned to me. "And Jane," he said, still smiling. He pulled out a small card from his pocket. "We got you something practical too." He handed it to me. A gym membership. 12 months prepaid. The table laughed. Not uncomfortable laughs. Real, loud laughs. Like it was the punchline to a joke I hadn't realized I was part of. "Got to stay healthy," my dad said, patting my shoulder. "It's practical," my mom added. "You've always been so good at taking care of yourself." Chelsea leaned over, voice low enough that only I could hear. "Maybe if you tried harder, you'd get more." I looked down at that card. Bright green logo, my name printed on it. My hands were shaking, so I put them in my lap under the table. I focused on breathing normally, on not making a scene, on being the responsible one like I'd always been. I looked around the table. My cousin Hannah wouldn't make eye contact. My Uncle Scott was suddenly very interested in his wine glass. They all saw it. They all knew how messed up this was. But nobody said a word. Because in my family, you didn't question my parents. You didn't point out the obvious favoritism. You just smiled and pretended everything was fine. This wasn't new. This was the pattern I'd lived my whole life. Chelsea was the golden child. When she crashed her car sophomore year of college, they bought her a new one. When her grades slipped, they paid for a tutor and made excuses to her professors. When she needed anything, it appeared. I was different. The one who didn't need help. The one who figured things out. When I struggled with tuition, they told me to apply for more scholarships. When my car broke down, they suggested I learn about public transportation. When I asked for help, the answer was always the same: "You'll figure it out." And I did. Over and over again, I figured it out. But sitting there, holding a gym membership while everyone celebrated my sister's house, something cracked inside me. I wasn't angry yet. I was humiliated. Shrunk down to nothing. Like they just reminded me exactly where I stood in this family. I stood up, grabbed my coat from the back of my chair. "I'm heading out," I said. My mom frowned. "Jane, don't be dramatic." My dad barely looked up from his conversation. Chelsea smirked, already turning back to the people congratulating her. I walked out into the cold air. Sat in my car for maybe an hour, just staring at the steering wheel. Replaying every laugh. Every casual dismissal. Every time I'd been told I was fine, I didn't need anything, I could handle it. That gym membership card was still in my hand. I looked at it under the parking lot lights and something just broke open inside me. All those years of being the easy child. The one who didn't complain. The one who made their lives simpler by needing less. And this is what it got me. A punchline at my sister's celebration. That night, I decided I was done. Within a week, I found an apartment. Small, quiet, cheap enough to afford on my own. I moved everything myself, didn't ask for help, didn't tell my parents where I was going. Just left. I packed up my life in one weekend. Every box I loaded into my car felt like taking back a piece of myself. I didn't leave a note. Didn't stage some dramatic exit. Just changed my address and stopped answering calls. The first few days were weird. The silence felt strange. Then it started feeling peaceful. Chelsea called first. "So how's the new place?" "Cozy." Her voice had that teasing edge it always did. I didn't answer. She texted later. A photo of her living room. Hardwood floors, big windows. Caption, "Still can't believe it's mine." I muted the conversation. My parents tried next. Mom left voicemails asking if I was done being dramatic. Dad texted once, "Call when you cool off." I didn't respond. Every message felt less like they cared and more like they were annoyed I wasn't playing my role anymore. A month went by. I settled into a routine. Work, simple dinners, quiet evenings. I bought a small plant for the windowsill and watched it actually grow. It felt like proof that something in my life was finally moving forward. I started sleeping better. Stopped having that constant knot in my stomach. Started realizing how much energy I'd been spending trying to earn love from people who'd already decided I wasn't worth the investment. Then one night, my phone rang. Chelsea's name on the screen. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. She was crying. Not her usual performative tears. Real panic. "I messed up," she gasped between sobs. I messed up so bad. She'd gone to a casino on a girls' trip. Thought she could double some money. Kept betting. Couldn't stop. Lost everything. She lost the house. I sat on my bed, listening. I didn't interrupt. Didn't comfort her either. When she finally stopped talking, I asked, "How much?" "All of it," she whispered. I kept thinking I could win it back. I kept thinking the next hand would fix everything. "Mom and Dad are freaking out," she finally said. Of course they were. The calls started the next morning. My parents, "Urgent now." Softer. "Family helps family," they said. This isn't the time to hold grudges. They asked if I could help cover some of Chelsea's bills. Just for a little while. Just until things got sorted out. I stared at the wall and felt something shift inside me. A month ago, I was dramatic. Now I was needed. I didn't answer right away. 2 days later, Chelsea showed up at my apartment. I hadn't given her my address. She stood in the hallway looking smaller than I remembered. Wrinkled clothes, red eyes, unsteady voice. "I just need somewhere to crash," she said. "Just for one night." I let her sit on the couch. Didn't offer food. Didn't hug her. Just listened. She talked in circles. Bad luck. Pressure. How this wouldn't have happened if our parents hadn't pushed her so hard. Not once did she say, "I messed up." She stayed that night. Then another. She started treating my apartment like a temporary inconvenience she'd soon escape. Ate my groceries without asking. Used my shower. Left her stuff everywhere like she belonged there. I came home from work one day and found her on my couch, eating my leftovers, watching my TV like she paid rent. She didn't even look up when I walked in. "We need to talk about how long you're planning to stay," I said. She finally looked at me. "I'm your sister. Where else am I supposed to go?" When I told her she needed to leave, her face changed. The panic turned sharp. "What am I supposed to do? Sleep in my car?" "You need to figure something out," I said quietly. She slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. The next morning, Mom called crying. Said I was being cruel. Dad followed with a text reminding me how much they'd done for me growing up. Then things got weird. Small things in my apartment started going missing. Food I knew I hadn't eaten. A blanket folded differently. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. One night, I noticed the laundry room window wasn't fully locked. I never opened that window. I set up my phone to record before bed. The footage made my stomach drop. At 2 in the morning, the window slid open. Chelsea climbed through. Went straight to the kitchen, ate standing up, then curled up on the floor with my blanket and fell asleep. She'd been breaking into my apartment. I watched the video 3 times. Watched my sister move through my space like she owned it. Like even my boundaries were just suggestions she could ignore. I confronted her the next day. She denied it until I showed her the video. Then she broke down. Said she was ashamed. Didn't want our parents to see how bad things were. Thought I wouldn't notice. You have 1 hour to leave, I said. Don't come back. That's when my parents stopped asking. They started accusing. They told relatives I was heartless. That I'd abandoned my sister when she needed me most. That I was cold and ungrateful. My cousin called me awkward and uncomfortable. Your mom is saying some pretty harsh things about you. I just wanted you to know I don't believe it. Thanks, I said. But I'm done caring what they say. Only my uncle pushed back. He called me privately. You're not wrong, he said. And they know it. They're just not used to consequences. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Plain envelope, my name printed neatly on the front. I opened it standing at my kitchen counter, coffee going cold beside me. It said I owed money. A lot of money. Enough to make my chest tighten. Enough to threaten everything I'd worked for. Payments were past due. Further action would follow if the balance wasn't addressed immediately. I read it 3 times. I hadn't taken out any loans. I paid everything on time. I kept my life boring on purpose to avoid this kind of thing. Then I saw the address on the paperwork. My parents' house. My hand started shaking. I spent the rest of the day making calls. Asking careful questions. Writing everything down. By evening, I understood exactly what happened. Someone had used my information to open a loan. The money went straight to covering Chelsea's mess. Rent, utilities, other bills they didn't want to explain. They hadn't asked me. Hadn't warned me. Just decided for me. They committed fraud in my name. The loan officer I spoke with was apologetic but clear. The application has your social security number, your date of birth, your employment information. Everything matches. As far as we're concerned, you signed for this. But I didn't, I said. Then you'll need to file a police report for identity theft, she said. That's the only way to dispute it. I drove to my parents' house that night. Didn't call ahead. Walked up those familiar steps feeling like I was entering enemy territory. My mom opened the door and froze when she saw my face. Jane, she said too quickly. You should have called. I walked past her into the living room. Dad was on the couch. Chelsea stood near the window, arms crossed. I set the letter on the table. Explain. Mom picked it up, glanced at it, looked away. We were going to tell you. When? My voice was steady, which surprised me. Dad sighed like I was exhausting him. Things got out of hand. We needed time. You used my name, I said. My credit. My future. Chelsea scoffed. You're overreacting. It's temporary. I turned to her. You don't get to decide that. Mom stepped between us. You know how desperate she was. What were we supposed to do? Let her end up on the street. I laughed once. Short and sharp. So you decided to put me there instead. That's not fair, Dad snapped. We raised you. Don't you think you owe us something? There it was. The sentence I'd been waiting for my whole life. No, I said. I don't. The room went completely quiet. I explained slowly, clearly, what this could do to me. How it could affect my ability to rent, to move, to live. This wasn't a family disagreement. It was a crime. Do you understand what you've done? I asked. This will follow me for years. Every apartment application, every background check, every time I need to prove I'm financially responsible. You've made me liable for your choices. Mom started crying. Real tears this time. We didn't think you'd find out so fast. You didn't think I'd find out. I repeated. Or you didn't think I'd care. Chelsea rolled her eyes. You always make everything about you. I turned back to my parents. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to fix this. Immediately. Handle the payments. Close anything opened in my name. If I hear from them again, I will go to the police. I'm not threatening you. I'm informing you. Dad stood up, anger flashing. You wouldn't. I would, I said. And I won't lose sleep over it. Chelsea exploded. You're unbelievable. You have a good job, a nice life. You could help me, and you're choosing not to. I looked at her and saw it clearly for the first time. Not confidence. Not entitlement. Fear. I already helped you, I said quietly. By stepping aside and letting you face your own choices. She just stared at me. I left without another word. For 2 days, my phone wouldn't stop. Calls, messages, guilt dressed up as concern. I didn't answer any of it. On the 3rd day, I got confirmation. The loan was handled. Closed. Paid. I didn't ask how. I locked down my credit. Changed all my passwords. Drew lines so clear they couldn't pretend not to see them. That night, my uncle called. They're furious, he said. But they're scared too. They know they went too far. What about Chelsea? She's angry, he said. But for the first time, she's also stuck. I hung up and sat in the quiet of my apartment. My heart was still racing, but underneath it was something new. Relief. A week later, Chelsea tried again. Showed up unannounced, standing in my doorway. She looked worse. Tired. Worn down. I just need to talk, she said. I didn't move. Say it. They won't help me anymore, she said. Mom and Dad. They said I need to figure it out. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I can't do this alone, she said. I can't keep working 2 jobs. I can't live like this. I held the door. You should have thought about that before. She snapped. You think you're better than me? No, I said. I think I learned faster. She left without another word. That was the moment I understood the power had shifted. Not because I won something. Because I stopped losing myself to them. After that, everything went quiet. The loan was officially closed. My credit was locked. No more letters. No more threats. Chelsea stopped showing up. From what I heard through my uncle, she moved into a tiny apartment and picked up extra shifts to pay her bills. No house. No safety net. Just consequences. My parents still complained about her, but something had changed. They weren't rescuing her anymore. Not because they learned anything. Because they were out of options. As for me, I focused forward. I got a promotion at work. Nothing flashy. Just more responsibility and better pay. A few months later, I moved into a better apartment. More light. More space. More quiet. I bought a second plant for the window and watched both of them thrive. My parents tried reaching out once. Small, careful messages testing the waters. I didn't respond. Silence felt healthier than any conversation we'd ever had. I wasn't angry anymore. Wasn't waiting for apologies or closure. Didn't need to prove anything. Walking away hadn't ruined my family like they warned me it would. It saved me. I learned something important through all of this. Being the easy child doesn't earn you love. It just teaches people they don't have to try. And family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about respect and care that goes both ways. I learned that love without limits isn't love. It's permission to be used. And walking away didn't make me heartless. It made me free. Thanks for listening, and if this story resonates with you, don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself when family takes you for granted. Sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones you need protection from.